feel like today is the day when I really want to talk about anxiety and how I cope with anxiety, how I learned to manage my anxiety, what helps to relieve my anxiety, and just generally what helps me be a happier person. And of course, I want to clarify that I am not a professional by any means, and everything that I'm sharing with you is my personal experience, and this is something that worked for me. I know that it's not necessarily something that may work for you, but I still would love to have this conversation, and I still would love to share in case you can relate and in case it can potentially help you as well to manage your stress level and just to be more happy, to be more fulfilled, to be more present in your everyday life. I know that I feel anxious when I am obsessing about things. The first thing I do when I feel anxious and when I start obsessing about stuff, I slow down. I start doing everything slower. I move slower, I eat slower, I find some space where I can sit still for several minutes, and I feel like mind and body are so connected that when your mind is rushing and your body is still, your mind starts coming down as well. Quite often when I get anxious, I grab my phone, so I make an effort not to do that and just to set it aside and distract myself by doing something else. By doing some mindful activities that help me get back into the present moment. Because the moment I am on my phone, I am somewhere else, and I know that. And I try to avoid that, especially when I'm anxious. Then implementing mindful activities when you're stressed or anxious helps a lot. Even if you just have 5 minutes, it's already good enough. And I feel like the best mindful activity that you can ever do is your hobby. Because hobby is something that's supposed to bring us fun and pleasure. And when we do something that makes us happy, we mentally don't need to be and don't want to be anywhere else but the present moment. That's why it's so important to have hobbies, to find time for hobbies, especially in this hustle world where work is our main priority and all we want to do is achieve our goals and achieve success. Hobbies are also extremely important for our mental health too, because they help us understand who we are, they help us understand what we love, what we want in life, what makes us genuinely happy, because for me, the main point in this life is to be a happy person and to have a happy, fulfilled, and positive life. There are several mindful activities when it comes to hobbies that I love to do. I love writing, I love reading, I love going for walks and hikes, and when I'm not alone, I love playing board games with my boyfriend, coloring, or creating something. I also find very useful to plan hobbies and fun activities in your everyday life, because I think that if I don't plan those activities, then I would end up doing some routine things, like I would just end up spending the day in my bed and reading. However, it's not necessarily bad if that's what you want, but I personally would love to diverse the fun activities and the hobbies that I implement on the regular basis, so that they keep working for me, like keep working the same way, keep helping me, because if every single day I do one and the same thing, eventually it will lose its effect. So I like to differentiate hobbies and intentionally implement different hobbies and different fun activities so that I can create new memories and new experiences and maybe discover something else that I like. And hobbies for me, they not only help reduce my anxiety, but they also help to prevent it as well. They help to prevent stress and overwhelm. Just because if we make time for doing things we love, we genuinely feel more happy in our everyday life. So if we feel happy, we are less exposed to feeling stressed or anxious when something bad happens. Another thing that helps me cope with my anxiety is accepting the lack of control. I am such a controlling person, not in terms of controlling people, but more so controlling myself, controlling time, and controlling plans. And every time things don't go according to plan, I feel super stressed and very anxious. However, we are not in control over everything that happens in our life, and we are not in control of other people. We are not in control of time. Sometimes situations happen and we don't know why. I don't need to know why they happen. I just need to accept the life how it is. We are not always going to know the answer why things are happening a certain way, and we are not always going to be in control over our time, over our routine, over our plans, because this is life. And another thing that helps me a lot in coping with my day-to-day anxiety is knowing that these feelings are temporary. Like, the way I feel right now about certain thing doesn't mean that I will feel the same way about this thing tomorrow. I can be anxious, but I never try to deny it or to resist it. I allow myself to feel the anxiety and to feel the stress, and I know that this is okay. This is just a stage. I am just a human like everyone else, and everyone feels this way at some point, especially when there are such stressful times. But it is honestly temporary, because I'm looking back at my past, and the things that I was anxious about in the past, I'm not anxious about anymore. Our thoughts that we have are not us, and they don't define us. They don't mean that this is who we are, and they don't really represent the true reality of things. If it was a reality, then everyone in the world would think the same way about certain things. And just because we all feel different and think different about things, it just means that this is our own interpretation, and it doesn't define who we really are, and it doesn't define the real situation. So these are my top 3 things I'd say when it comes to coping with my everyday anxiety. I think I'm gonna leave it at that, and I really hope you could relate and you found this video useful, and I will talk to you soon.